So I've played a Wolong Fallen Dynasty. I mentioned it last week on the podcast, and Chris had said he was very interested in that game. And Chris, if you're listening, I told you to wait until I talked about it this week before you decided to spend your money. This game came out March 3rd of this year. Team Ninja is the ones behind it. They're the ones that came out with Neo 2 a couple years ago. If y'all are familiar, I was huge into Neo 2. I played probably about half the year was me playing Neo 2. Mainly because it was so goddamn hard that I couldn't fucking finish it ever. But yeah, love Neo 2 regardless. Like, great fucking game. So, decided to jump into Wolong Fallen Dynasty. It was marketed as Neo meets Sekiro, which I'm telling you right now, if I could ever finish Sekiro, that would be a top 10 game of all time. Might be top 5 all time. Fucking love that game. But I just can't finish it. Can't beat it. Can't get past the hard part, Shout out.
I was about to get it.
And it's just too difficult of a game for me. One day I'll go back to Sekiro and replay it. Because I think I still have the save file on my Xbox. So I was definitely interested in this, and a lot of people have been saying that it was more accessible than Sekiro was, and it was a little bit easier. So I was like, well, fuck, hell yeah, I'm gonna jump into this shit, right? Then my interest in it kind of waned as we got closer to it, and then, like I said earlier, I kind of just fucking forgot that I pre-ordered it. I pre-ordered the Steelbook, and lo and behold, it showed up at my doorstep, and I was like, oh fuck, I kind of regret that.
Oh.
So I finished Final Fantasy 16, and I needed a game to jump into to talk about on the podcast for the following week, right? So I decided to jump into Wolong Fallen Dynasty. And it is very much Neo meets Sekiro. It is set during the Three Kingdoms era in China during the final days of the Han Dynasty. So jumping into this game, on paper, it looks like it could be a shit ton of fun. Okay, on paper, because there's a morale system, there's different abilities that you can use. They do give you, on top of the morale system, it does make the game a little bit easier if you go about it that way. But it's just, you have to nail your parries and your deflections and your blocks. If you don't, you fucking get shredded. And I played probably about an hour and a half of it, and after dying to the boss for 20 times, I was fucking done with it, and I won't play it again. It's just, I didn't have enough time to really put forth the effort to really learn everything about it and really get familiar with it. But it does seem like a lot of fun. So if you love Sekiro, if you love Neo, and you love more difficult games, then 100% this is a game that you should go check out.
I don't love either one of those.
Yeah, it's just, look, guys, I've gotten to the point where I'm not going to fuck around with a game longer than I have to. Okay, like Final Fantasy 16 was done. I still have to go back to Diablo 4. I got BioShock on the burner going. So it was like, I'm not really enjoying this. I'm not going to put forth more time than I have to into Fallen Dynasty. So, aspects of the game, and we'll see if you like it. If not, whatever. Every level you get like a companion figure. It's basically like a historical figure from Chinese history, and you get a different one for every level. Some of them come back and they help you throughout the level and at the bosses. So that's nice. You get a little pal to go along with you, and get you fucking killed, whichever. Die alongside him. All those kind of fucking shenanigans. He doesn't really do much, but he's there. He's pretty to look at, I guess.
Shout out.
So every level you get something like him. You get a companion dude to go with you. In this game, there are multiple different ways to go about combat. One of those is, we'll talk about the abilities that you have, and that is the the special martial art abilities, which are basically just weapon abilities. So when you equip a weapon, some of them have these special martial art abilities. Then you have spirit attacks, which spirit is kind of like something that you build up throughout the level. And you build that up by carefully timing deflections and avoiding damage. You get spirit taken away from you and shit like that. So you build that up, you have spirit attacks, and then you can cast spells, like fire attacks and normal fucking Dark Souls shit, okay? Where the game is fucking interesting is the morale system. And it was something that I was like very, very intrigued by. So this is a separate progression system. So you level up like a normal Souls game, level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way to 100, past 100, right? And you can put it into your stats and shit like that. So that's not any different. The morale system, on the other hand, is level by level. So it resets every level, but you keep it per level, okay? Depending on there's like a benchmark flag that you can get that. So we'll say you can go all the way up to level 25 in your morale system per level. If you're level 25 morale system and you're going up against a morale system rank of like 5, you are absolutely going to slaughter that dude. So that's another little benefit to going through the level multiple times to build up that morale system. And then also, if your boss is level 20 and you're 25, you have an advantage in that fight. Then we get into the issues with it, or not even the issues. It's where the Dark Souls-esque aspect of it comes into play, and that is you have these benchmark flags. You're building up your rank throughout the entire level, and you'll find other flags that, okay, when I die, I don't go below this certain rank, which is nice. It's nice not to lose all your progress. But you do drop ranks whenever you die, and you also drop rank when an enemy hits you with a special attack or the little red attacks, a special attack, unblockable attacks, whatever they're fucking called in the game. If he hits you with that, you lose some of your morale. So that's a bummer. So when you're fighting the bosses and you're not fucking deflecting right, you're losing your advantage fairly quickly. And yes, that's kind of like a built-in difficulty system to kind of make the game a little bit easier. But I don't know, man. The game didn't connect with me in the hour and a half that I played with it. Shout out. And it didn't seem like something that I wanted to put a whole bunch of time into. That was really the biggest issue. So if you're into, like I said, if you're into Neo, into Sekiro, this is definitely a series that you should probably go check out. It's just, like I said, I don't have time to sit here and play fucking 50 hours of a game, and only a 20-hour game I shouldn't be playing for 50 fucking 60 hours, So that's kind of the boat that I'm in. So yeah, personally, as a Souls fan, I would go play other games. But y'all take what I said and do with that information what you will.